afternoon to you, and welcome yet again to Game on Hay. At the end of a day where we've seen England maintain their unbeaten record. Sri Lanka, a very, very good effort to try and unseat them, but in the end the strength and talent and imagination of Owen Morgan as captain for England got England through. So they, as I say, maintain their unbeaten record, and they are very much booked into the semi-finals. Let's just have a look at the match summary, just to remind us all of the facts and figures of the day. England having to bat first for the first time in this tournament. 163 for 4. It was a slow start, but the brilliance of Jos Buttler got them through to 163 for 4. 101 not out. He reached that 100 off the last ball with the 6. He was given good support by Owen Morgan, the captain, with 40, and that set the challenge for Sri Lanka. Now, there were times in the chase where Sri Lanka looked as though they might be able to pull off the upsets. The last few overs, the last 15, 20 minutes, sorted that out. Owen Morgan was very, very good as captain. England just had the resources to see them off. So Sri Lanka falling in the end for 137 and England winning by 26. So if we can switch to the points table, just to confirm the situation in this group as well, we'll see that England are confirmed very much at the top there. 4 from 4, 8 points in total. So it's South Africa still in second, Australia just behind them on 4. Sri Lanka, well, they had a chance maybe to go up to 4 points tonight. That chance went begging. So there's still stuff to be played for, as they say, in terms of who will join England in the semi-finals. Should we say it's pretty much certain that England are through to the semi-finals? Anyway, a very good day for them, a very good day for all of us. Now, before we introduce you to the panel, actually, no, what I do as we introduce you to the panel tonight, earlier today, we tried to predict the score in the first innings for England. We knew that England were batting first. We wondered how many they would get on a Sharjah pitch that they'd not played on before. So starting from my right, Aaqib Javed said 180. Very optimistic.
It was quite optimistic, yeah.
That was based on what?
I mean, look, the other day when Sri Lanka played Bangladesh, they scored 171 and it's chased down. So today, where we heard the pitch report is shining, it's better, it's good for the batting. So we thought that England, with the depth in batting, and Sri Lanka's bowling is not that strong. They have weaker links, but the pitch proved that it's not going to get better.
Yeah, never trust a pitch report from a foreigner. Right. Viv, you went for 160, so you were close.
The guy who was first is first.
Well, no, we'll get, no. Just keep
here?
the suspense.
Okay.
Keep the suspense.
Okay.
We're just praising you for being close.
No, I do not praise myself for coming second.
Well, that's the end of Viv then. Umar, Gold, you were 150, and you were also backing Sri Lanka to win today.
First of all, congrats.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I think that was totally on the based on pitch report.
Mm-hmm.
If you heard about Jos Buttler, he was what time he was saying that 120 was looked like enough on the board. And the second thing, supporting Sri Lankan after the toss.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a due reason. So the due will come.
150, a little bit just below. Rashid, 173.
Buttler missed 2 boundaries. Nothing. 175.
You?
Yeah.
And Azhar, you were closest with 164. Mind you wrote this down.
Target is 164.
Yeah.
Thank you. क्यों आते हो?
कहाँ जाऊँ? वहाँ नहीं जा सकता. वहाँ अगर जाना होता ना.
Very good career if you want to choose one.
Sorry, Which one? Didn't miss Monsieur. You were 177.
Yeah, I didn't think that England would start with 35 for 3. So 10 runs, I think.
To be fair, nor did I.
So because of that, I think I'm 10 runs above the target. 10, 15 runs
What
above
was
the
yours?
I was, I forgot about me. I was 178.
178.
So again, I was looking on the higher
This
side.
is very, if you're guessing something, or 180, 160, from where they come with 163 or 178? How come? When, you know, if you ask somebody, okay,
173.
what is the total on this page? You say, okay, 150 plus, 180 plus.
Aaqib bhai, we pay attention to detail.
Okay,
Those
detail.
one singers and doubles and extras.
Okay.
Because if you're having a competition like this and you go, well, so somewhere between 160 and 180,
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of covers most of the ground, doesn't it?
Okay. There's more
And
detail.
just to refresh our memories again, who backed who to win apart from obviously the blue shirted? So Azhar and I were backing him. Everyone else, underdog king, was saying Sri Lanka had a good chance today. I think.
No. He was.
Oh,
with
sorry,
us.
sorry,
He was
I
part
said
of us.
There's no reason that England could not win.
As
He
we've
got a
proved.
British passport.
Yes. And you have to back them because
Otherwise,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
don't.
Okay,
Reasons.
Don't.
right. So I think we should discuss the major performances of the day.
of course. Again, I think जो start किया है इंग्लैंड का मेन नजर आया डिफरेंस वो जो पार्टनरशिप थी मॉर्गन की और बटलर की. मैं तो वहाँ से स्टार्ट इंग्लैंड की अगर हम बैटिंग की बात करें
बटलर पूरे मैच में ही आज खेलते ही रहे वो. पूरे ओवर्स खेले, कीपिंग भी पूरी की, 40 ओवर्स गेम में रहना यूएई में. और जिस तरह बैटिंग की है, ऊपर से जो 3 बैटर्स इनके आउट हुए हैं और यहाँ पे लो एंड स्लो बाउंस उसको लेके चले हैं. इसमें सारा क्रेडिट जो देता हूँ इयन मॉर्गन को, जो खिलाया है जिन्होंने साथ में. दोनों ने मिलके 120 बॉल्स होती हैं, 103 तो इन्होंने खेली है आपस में. 103 बॉल, लाइक 18 ओवर्स तकरीबन 17 पॉइंट कुछ बॉल,
112 रन की पार्टनरशिप.
112 78 बॉल्स लिए इन्होंने 112 रन में. लेकिन नो डाउट हम बटलर तो खेल रहे थे, थ्रू आउट टूर्नामेंट खेल रहे थे वर्ल्ड कप, लेकिन मॉर्गन को चांस नहीं मिल रहा था फॉर्म. लेकिन जिस तरह से वो लेके चले इस मैच में, मतलब कि उनके गेम चला है, ऐसा नहीं है. यहाँ से ये आउट होते तो मुश्किल ज़रूर हो जाती. मेरे ख्याल से बटलर को चलाने में, बटलर तो है आउट क्लास प्लेयर, लेकिन उसमें इयन मॉर्गन का बहुत बड़ा क्रेडिट जाता है. और पूरा 103 बॉल मतलब 17 ओवर तो यही खेल गए. तो ऐसा भी कम नज़र आता है कि ऊपर से आउट हो जाए और इतना बड़ा टारगेट देते हैं 164 का टारगेट.
और यही कमी नजर आई श्रीलंका की. उनके भी 34 पे 3 आउट थे, इनके 35 पे 3 आउट थे. और एक्सपीरियंस की जो हम
इनकी
बात
जो
करें,
टीम है, ऊपर से आउट हो गए, रॉय आउट हो गए, मलान आउट हो गए, बेरिस्टो आउट हो गए, लेकिन उस तरह जिस तरह लेके चले हैं ये लोग. अभी लिविंगस्टन की बैटिंग बाकी थी, मोइन अली की अभी बाकी थी. तो डीप बैटिंग लाइनअप है इनकी. बॉलिंग भी डीप है. आज टैमिल मिल अनफिट हुए हैं, लेकिन बॉलिंग कितनी डीप है कि छठा बॉलर भी कर रहा है, सातवां भी कर रहा है. तो इस टीम को इसीलिए फेवरेट कहा जा रहा है कि फॉर्मेशन बहुत अच्छी बन रही है. अगर कोई अनफिट भी हो रहा है, प्लेइंग 11 में एक अनफिट हो रहा है, तो फॉर्मेशन फिर भी उनकी डिस्टर्ब नहीं हुई. नो डाउट थोड़ा सा मिस्टेक कर गए, कैलकुलेशन इनकी थोड़ी 18वें-19वें ओवर में इतनी अच्छी नहीं बनी श्रीलंका की. लेकिन राजा पक्सा होते तो गेम शायद और क्लोज हो सकता. जीतना थोड़ा मुश्किल था, और क्लोज हो सकता था.
और उमर भाई, आप डेथ बॉलिंग में आखिरी 10 ओवर्स में बहुत ज़्यादा रन्स दिए श्रीलंका के बॉलर्स ने. कहाँ पे गलती आपको लगी कि उन्होंने की है?
आई थिंक फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल क्रेडिट जाता है बटलर को, जिस तरह द वे ही बैटेड. और एक टाइम पे उसने अपने इंटरव्यू में भी मेंशन किया कि लग रहा था कि 120 भी इस विकेट पे जो ना मुश्किल है चेस करना. लेकिन श्रीलंका ने जिस तरह पहले 10 ओवर में डोमिनेट किया था पावर प्ले में 36 for 3, और पहले 10 ओवर में उनके इतना स्कोर 56 रन थे, लेकिन लास्ट 10 ओवर में 116 रन बनाए. मेरे ख्याल से जो आपका क्वेश्चन है कि डेथ ओवर में गलती क्या की है, गलती ये हुई उनसे कि उन्होंने जो बॉलिंग की, स्पेशली जो पेसर ने की, या तो बिल्कुल फुल लेंथ पे किए या शॉर्ट ऑफ लेंथ बॉल किए, जो कि अगर आप थ्रू आउट पिच देखें शारजा की, जो हार्ड लेंथ को आप हिट करते हो ना, तो वहाँ से हिट लगना मुश्किल है. क्योंकि अगर आपके 140 प्लस आप बॉल करते हो तो वहाँ से मुश्किल होता है. लेकिन आई थिंक उनकी जो बॉलर्स थे ये गलती की, या तो अगर आपने करते फुल यॉर्कर करें या फुल लेंथ और शॉर्ट पिच पे उनको हिट लगी ज़्यादातर.
बिल्कुल सही है. और अजहर भाई, हम साथ उनकी इनिंग्स का स्कोर कार्ड भी देखते हैं. इंग्लैंड की जो बैटिंग इनिंग्स है, सिर्फ 2 ही बॉलर्स श्रीलंका के विकेट्स ले सके. ये भी एक इशू थोड़ा सा इनकी बॉलिंग में भी नजर आया, इवन दो कि बैटिंग बहुत अच्छी की इन दोनों ने.
देखें, जैसे बटलर की जो इनिंग्स थी, आउटस्टैंडिंग इनिंग्स थी. मतलब उसको आप देखें कि 3 आउट हो चुके थे पावर प्ले के बाद, और उस तरह जिस तरह उन्होंने अपनी इनिंग्स को बिल्ड किया, मोगन के साथ, अगर आप मोगन का देखें तो उन्होंने 40 किया 36 बॉल्स पे ना। लेकिन ये था कि अगर आप उनका इंटरव्यू भी सुने तो उसमें उन्होंने कहा कि 120 हम लोग सोच रहे थे कि हो सकता है कि अच्छा स्कोर हो, लेकिन अपनी एबिलिटी पे इतना ज़्यादा यकीन था कि चलो हम बैट करते हैं इसको, यही एक्सपीरियंस है, यही इसीलिए वो दुनिया के आई थिंक वन ऑफ द बेस्ट प्लेयर इन वाइट बॉल क्रिकेट, इसी वजह से वो हैं कि उनमें जो एबिलिटी है। और हमें पता है कि जिस वक्त वो बैटिंग करते हैं तो फिर वो किसी भी बॉलर को, कोई भी बॉलर दुनिया का ऐसा नहीं है जब व्हेन ही इज ऑन सॉन्ग इसको स्टॉप कर सके, तो बहुत मुश्किल है। और क्रेडिट जाता है उनको, जिस तरह आज उन्होंने अपना पहला 100 भी किया इस T20 में, तो क्रेडिट सबसे पहले तो उनको जाता है। फिर अगर आप श्रीलंका की बॉलिंग के ऊपर आएँ तो उसमें यह है कि चमारा के पास या कुमारा के पास जो है वो पेस तो है, लेकिन इतना ज़्यादा एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है। जब आप अंडर प्रेशर होते हो तो वो जब खेलेंगे तो उनको एक्सपीरियंस इसका साथ आएगा। अब विकेट को असेस करना जो है ना वो बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आया हम डेथ में समटाइम होता है कि आपने किस तरह की बॉलिंग करनी है, कि यॉर्कर करना है या क्या है। समटाइम विकेट पे जैसे हार्ड लेंथ पे अभी आपने जॉर्डन का ओवर देखा, गालबन 18वां ओवर था, तो उन्होंने हार्ड लेंथ पे बॉल किया जिसमें वो रन आउट भी हुए। तो उसमें हार्ड लेंथ पे ना अगर आपके पास इतना ज़्यादा पेस है और आप विकेटों में बॉल करते हो, जो है हार्ड लेंथ पे जब आप बॉल करते हो तो वो बड़ा मुश्किल है। तो पिच को असेस करना भी समटाइम बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, स्पेशली गीले बॉल के साथ। जब बॉल गीला होता है तो फिर आप यॉर्कर इतनी ज़्यादा एक्यूरेट तरीके से आप एग्जीक्यूशन उसकी कर नहीं सकते। तो ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है कि पिच को असेस करना, डायमेंशन को असेस करना, ये चीज़ें जब आप ज़्यादा खेलते हो तो फिर आप इससे सीख सकते हो। आई थिंक कि वहाँ पे उन्होंने लैक किया। और जो एबिलिटी कहूँगा मैं अगेन कि पावर हिटिंग, अगर आप उसकी बैटिंग में देखें कि 6 सिक्सेस से और 4 फोर्स से उनकी, और मोगन ने भी 3 छक्के मारे, तो ऑलमोस्ट 9 सिक्सेस उन्होंने हिट किए हैं आज के मैच में। तो इस ग्राउंड पे जैसे हम बात कर रहे थे कि ऊपर से हिट मारना वो ज़्यादा आसान है बनिस्बत जो है कि आप बाउंड्रीज अलोंग द ग्राउंड हिट करें, तो वो मुश्किल है।
So, just to wrap it up quickly, the main difference was the 112 partnership between Ian Morgan and Buttler, and Ian Morgan also was very important in this overall innings of Buttler as well. That's what Rashid bhai was pointing out, and all credit to him. He was there for 40 overs on the ground. 20 when he was batting, and then as a keeper also. So in humid conditions, it's not easy. And with the bowling, both our fast bowlers, ex-fast bowlers, were mentioning the hard lengths and how when the ball became a bit wet, executing those Yorkers becomes tougher, and they missed the hard lengths. That's why they gave so many runs.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And obviously that Buttler innings was the absolute key to the day. We can show you how he played it. But Viv, you as a master striker, as the master blaster, must have appreciated. I mean, how good was this for you? Because this man now has a new name, Universe Joss.
I can tell you, regardless of who you support, when you see knocks like that, you got to appreciate it. And a cricket fan, regardless of, as I said before, whoever you support, when you see a guy just muscling the ball like that, which is pretty hard at Charger, he waited for his moments, and you look at that, just sheer power of the man. And also, not forgetting that he is was a Somerset man as well, and for some reason you had people like Ian Botham who would have played at Somerset. That's the sort of power hitting that the beefy one would have enjoyed as well. I enjoyed it.
The difference, Aaqib, now though, is that these guys had technique, they had strength, they had good bats. Yes, different to the bats we have nowadays, but just the techniques, Joss's technique. This is a new thing, the power hitting technique. The way the legs go out, the way the hands come through so quickly. This is just the perfect example of it.
I mean, look, from last 7-8 years, they've been working on it. They're practicing, their practice routines are different, and very intelligently they executed, because if you see their spinners, one bowled 4 overs only for 13 runs, Asaranga 21 runs and 3 wickets. The only one ball they charged against Asaranga and he got out, Morgan. They knew what they're playing against. They target all their pacers, Kumara, Chumera, Kronaratne, Shanaka, they all went for 12 and over, 11 and over. So they knew that what is coming, they were waiting for the right movement, and then they charged. After 12 overs, they were like 61 for 3. So only 8 overs to go. So they knew that there is only one spin over, and 7. How many they scored?
Lots.
14th over, 13th over, 14 runs. That's where they actually started. And then the 15th over, Kumara for 22. That was the game changer. So I think what hurting Sri Lankan is young team.
Yeah.
You can't have 11 young players. You need to have mix of experience. You need one experienced death bowler, or you need one very experienced middle order batter. So this is, I think, they have the skills, but they're not. They lack
Lot to learn.
lot to learn.
Lot to learn. You
And-
could see against towards the end, they're just not getting it right. The hard lens that they were bowling early on did put England under a lot of pressure. But when you are looking to execute, the mind must be right.
Yes.
And for some reason, the 2 games that we've just seen them lost it. For some reason, they just didn't get the mind right in terms of what they wanted to execute.
Yeah, they execute under pressure. That is the actual test for a bowler and batsman.
But this is what we said this morning about Kamara, who against the Netherlands, no pressure,
Yeah.
3-0. Against South Africa, closing down the game, pressure, wrong lengths, ball
Wrong
disappears.
length,
Today, end of the innings, pressure, wrong lengths. That is the definition.
That is
of
what they have to
pressure.
learn now. I think you cannot blame them, young team. And as you said, I think earlier in one of the programs, you said that this is a team for the future. So I guess maybe the coaching staff and everyone who has to do with Sri Lankan cricket.
You know what happened? Okay, you have one experienced bowler and one young bowler. At the spot, the young one can see and learn from the senior one. Okay, wet ball, this pitch, oh, this is the best option. So he can follow him. But there is no one. Chumera and Kumar are the same age, same sort of experience. They had no clue what to respond on different situations and different pitches.
I think they got Lakmal and who's the other one? The fast bowler? Prasad. I think both were injured. You know, like unfortunately they were injured. But one thing, yes, they will learn. But you see the quality of the players. You know, like the other day we saw David Miller. He's one of the best finisher in the game, and now Buttler. So you know, like it's a lot to learn. But you know, in the same time, you know, so you must give credit to the guy who cleared the rope.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're the best in the business, but we are talking about your best. Can you deliver your best under pressure? That is the
It
question.
didn't look so.
Yeah, it is
Okay, these guys mentioned Owen Morgan just now. We can look at his 40 as well, because for him, actually, this is a personal vindication, because prior to the tournament, he wasn't getting runs in IPL. He's not had to do any batting to speak of in this World T20 until today. So this actually, and there's some good striking. This is almost as though he hadn't been out of form. There's some really good striking.
That
here.
shot,
Yeah.
I think, was a shot.
Those two shots,
Yeah.
those 2 sixes, evidence that he's...
This is 16th over.
Yeah, no, sure. I mean, you're right.
It took his time. It felt it. He was there. He knew what's going on. Very mature mindset, calculative inning.
That's another good shot as well, because of the use of the feet help him to get to as close as possible to
And
the
that
ball.
was
Yeah,
first ball of that over, making a statement.
that's right.
against
So
Hasaranga
the next
coming back
5
on
was
again.
going to be the
Yeah.
ball was going to be under a lot of pressure.
And when you consider that Josh Buttler was saying that at one stage they thought 120 would be a good score, which obviously would have been a losing score.
I think he bats better than maybe making assessment.
Well,
That's
okay, I'll take your point. But it just reflects how tough it was at the start, doesn't it? I mean, at the start they couldn't buy a run.
Yes, of course, when a team is 62 of 12 overs, for the last overs you would be thinking about on those lines 120, 130. But I think I support Aaqib bhai on what he's saying, that the match between South Africa and Sri Lanka also, it was such a close game that even if they had a little bit of experience or someone to talk to them at that moment, they could have won that game. And Bangladesh also, Bangladesh messed that up because there were changes in their bowling lineups as well. And in batting also, I mean, they have had starts, they have had performances today. At one point, they were looking as if they can chase that total. But again,
sure.
experience. Because in World Cups, I also believe, okay, there's time for building a team, but at a World Cup, your best team should be there, whether it's senior players or junior players.
Okay, we have a bowling card then, just to highlight the way this spin again has dominated for Sri Lanka. I mean, just look at some of those figures. Chamira as the lead seamer at the top of the innings there, 1 for 43. Hasaranga, 4 overs this time, 3 for 21. Bowled him at the start, bowled later on as well. Kamara, who's had these problems with lengths in the last couple of games, expensive yet again. Tikshan, I mean, 4 overs, none for 13. No wickets may be, but keeping it down to 3.25 and over in this form of the game puts a lot of pressure on batsmen, which unfortunately, then you look at the rest of the figures, you know, the seam bowlers haven't been able to deliver. Otherwise, if you keep it down, again, just think about it, keep it down to say 130, 140, and you can win that game rather more easily.
Yeah, like the other day I said, you know, like when you, in these pitches, you know, you don't have to look for 180, 190, you know, like as Buttler mentioned, you know, like looking at 120, 130, and when you keep going, you can build on that and get a good total, like they did today. So it's really important, you know, the team thinks that way, and then if you see the Buttler, the Morgan, the Livingston, they have the power, they can believe themselves, you know, they can go, if they can get 1 hour, they can get 1 hour of 20, 25, or even 30. So they have the ability. But if you don't have that much power and that much strength, then you can't rely on the last couple of overs, you know, like it's England has that luxury in their armory, so that's why they are so successful.
The other thing
team.
I would say is that there are times when it comes off. Like today, it came off and they were able to get all those runs from those closing 4 or 5 overs. It's not always going to work that way. Similarly, that chase the other day for David Miller, Asif Ali, you know, all these guys who so far in the tournament have finished off in style. One day there'll be a slight miscue, a catch on the boundary. I mean, it doesn't always work.
So one day you will play with a better equipped bowling side,
Yeah.
whom you will face like 5 good bowlers, like Pakistan. Like, I mean, look, we are talking about there are loose ends in Sri Lankan bowlings. All these 4 seamers, they are not mature enough to hold their nerves under pressure and execute the right length and the Yorkers or the slower ones. So I think the way England reacted today to the spinners, it was, I think, this was too much thinking and worrying about it. And that's why, Rashid, you want to mention?
Aaqib 34 रन किए 8 ओवर में इंग्लैंड ने, और रिमेनिंग 12 ओवर पे 130 रन किए इंग्लैंड ने फास्ट बॉलिंग पे या मीडियम फास्ट पे. तो श्रीलंका को अपनी स्ट्रेंथ पे खेलना चाहिए था. एक स्पिनर और जो उमर गुल ने कहा था, अकीला का शायद नाम लिया था, है ना, एक स्पिनर और होता तो शायद थोड़ी बहुत फर्क पड़ सकता था. लेकिन फिर भी मैच इनके हाथ में आया था. जैसे आसिफ अली को देखें या मिलर को देख लें, सेम ग्राउंड पे. यहाँ पे फर्नांडो दोबारा नाकाम हो गए. राजा पक्ष और शनाका बैटिंग कर रहे थे और मिस कैलकुलेट किया. 19th ओवर मोइन अली ने किया है. अगर ये पूरे 20 ओवर करते तो मेरे ख्याल से 20 ओवर करने भी नहीं देते, मैच खत्म हो जाता. ये मिस्टेक हुई है दोनों प्लेयर से जिन्होंने मिस कैलकुलेट किया, वो गलत हिट मार के ये लोग आउट.
और मुझे ये लगता है वन सेंटेंस कि अगर आप बोल्ड आउट ना हो, इट्स रियली हार्ड टू डिफेंड. I mean, look, if your 7th, 8th player is there playing, and it's really hard to defend like hundreds, even 60.
राशिद भाई, हसरंगा के बारे में ओवरऑल इस टूर्नामेंट में बॉलिंग हो, बैटिंग हो, हर लिहाज से बड़ा ज़बरदस्त परफॉर्म किया. हमारे पास पैकेज भी है इनकी आज की बॉलिंग का. इसकी इनकी ओवरऑल टैलेंट के बारे में, जो एग्जीक्यूशन है उसके बारे में कुछ बताएं.
बहुत ही ज़बरदस्त बॉलिंग कर रहे हैं. रीड नहीं हो रही बॉल, कहते हैं ना, आज भी बॉल किए हुए हैं. इनको स्ट्रेट, जैसे सर कहते हैं कि सीधा मारना चाहिए, तो लेकिन क्या है, उन्होंने अपने थोड़ा सर नीचे करके ये मार दिया, गलत कैलकुलेट किया. और बहुत ही ज़बरदस्त बॉलर है. लेकिन सारे सर्कल जो है ना, इसमें मेन बॉलर को बॉल करा दिया. विकेट टेकिंग बॉलर 7th ओवर के बाद होना चाहिए, जैसे पाकिस्तान के पास शादाब है या किसी और टीम के पास जैम्पा है, राशिद खान है और आदिल रशीद है. आफ्टर 6 ओवर 7, 9, 11, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है ये ओवर. तो क्या है, मेन बॉलर अगर यहाँ पे 2 विकेट ले भी गया, अब आपको विकेट्स नहीं मिली, इसलिए कि आपके पास अच्छा स्पिनर, क्वालिटी स्पिनर नहीं था, जिसकी वजह से मॉर्गन और बटलर की पार्टनरशिप बहुत डीप चली गई, बहुत लंबी चली गई। कोई क्वालिटी स्पिनर होता तो हो सकता है कि प्रॉब्लम हो जाती है। जी,
इसमें मेरे ख्याल से वही जिस तरह हम लास्ट मैच में हमने बात की ना न्यूजीलैंड की, कि आपको जो ना T20 में दोनों साइड जो ना बैलेंस करने, स्ट्रांग बनाने, बॉलिंग भी बैटिंग भी। तो अगर श्रीलंका में आप देखें ना, तो इनका जो कंसर्न है ना फिफ्थ बॉलर है, और वो ये फिफ्थ बॉलर यूज़ करे, ये जो करुणारत्न है ऑलराउंडर उनका, तो नॉर्मली उसने मैं ये बात राशिद भाई की बात बिल्कुल सही है, नॉर्मली वो करता है सर्कल में, जो कि आज उनका जो स्ट्राइक बॉलर उसको यूज़ किया सर्कल में। बाद में जो ना उनके पास ऐसे बॉलर नहीं थे जो विकेट टेकर बॉलर थे, क्योंकि जिस तरह उन्होंने उनको बिलीव था अपने ऊपर कि हम बाद में जो है इसको कवर कर सकते हैं। तो यस बिल्कुल, आई थिंक थोड़ी सी आप कह सकते कि मिस कैलकुलेशन हो सकती है कैप्टन सेशन की जो बॉलिंग यूज़ हुए हैं।
Yeah, because they have a weak link as in the fifth bowler. So they were trying to create that opportunity with the new ball with Hasaranga. But Hasaranga has been so successful in the middle overs, so there were no wicket-taking option for them in the middle overs. And then that big partnership between Owen Morgan and Buttler, because there was not a proper wicket-taking bowler in the middle overs.
Because they were one bowler short. That's what. Because if you see
That's
England,
what I told
England
you.
bowled Adil Rashid in power play as well. So they bowled three overs or spin in first six. You know, like Moeen Ali started
Because
with Adil got 2
they have
wickets.
5 proper bowlers.
Yeah, they have 5
they have
proper
4
bowlers, so they can have that sort of thing in the power play.
But then Tikshana came on later than he has done before. And what England did, was just defend. You know, they didn't, I say, none for 13. None for 13, which, in its sense, as I said earlier, it's a very good set of figures because it puts the pressure onto the other bowlers and onto the batsmen to make the runs in the other overs. It takes 4 overs out of the equation. So you're now playing with 16 overs, not 20. But he is also a potential wicket taker. So when he gets it right and he picks up a couple, 3 wickets, whatever, that makes a difference too.
Yes, sir. Vivian Richards, that's another strategy of calculating the bowlers that you are facing.
Yeah, it's what I think Buttler did more than anything else was the fact that he knew who he wanted to take down. And by playing those 4 overs and playing out that particular bowler who I felt was he felt was a wicket taker, they decided that they would to not go at him as hard as they could. And in the end, it all paid off because when you look and see the way Buttler finished off, it was well calculated, and he knew exactly what the ball coming on a little bit more. He felt that's where he could generate his power, and certainly, man, didn't he turn on the power tonight?
Yeah.
But just look at this package. There's hardly a shot played. I mean, there's lots of defences. They're looking for ones. They're watching the ball off the pitch because it's a slow pitch. They can make adjustments. I think they've actually picked a lot. I think a lot of them actually have been picked. They've just not taken the risk.
Yeah, because I think you can avoid 8 overs. So if you have 3 spinners, then you have chances that they have to take on the bowlers. So I think Sri Lanka playing in Sharjah and playing against England, it has to be another spinner, and they have one spinner in their 15 squad.
और अगर हम ये दोबारा से एक दफा हसारंगा की तिक्षाना की बॉलिंग देख सकें, राशिद भाई कुछ बताना चाहते हैं? अच्छा, फिर वो बगैर देखे
मैं बताता हूँ होता क्या है कि जब इन्होंने बॉलिंग की है, ये पिचेज ऐसी हैं, इनको आपका बैलेंस फ्रंट फुट और बैक फुट पे आना चाहिए। 90% इंग्लिश बैट्समैन ने बैक फुट पे खेला ठीक शाना, इसकी वजह से रन नहीं ले सके। बैक फुट पे आके उन्होंने किया है, जहाँ पे ये आगे गए 1 रन लेने के लिए रन लिया है, 4 या 5 दफ़ा आप देखिएगा फ्रंट फुट पे रन बनाए, बैक फुट पे आके ब्लॉक हो जाते हैं ये लोग, क्योंकि बॉल नीचे रहता है, वहाँ पे लग के फिर फील्डर के हाथ में गया, जिसकी वजह से जितने भी प्लेयर्स खेल रहे हैं आप देखेंगे कि जो बैक फुट पे गया वो ब्लॉक हो गया। ऑस्ट्रेलियन क्यों स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे? जितने भी लेग स्पिनर है, गुगली या स्ट्रेटर बॉल कर रहे हैं, सीधी पैड्स पे आगे लग रही, कोई आगे जाके इसको प्रॉपर्ली खेल नहीं रहा, बॉल की पिच पे नहीं पहुंच पा रहे, जिसकी वजह से स्पिनर्स पे जो मिस्ट्री स्पिनर है उस पे इश्यूज आ रहे हैं, प्रॉब्लम आ रही है।
आई थिंक राशिद भाई इसकी ये वजह तो नहीं है कि आप वो बॉल पिक नहीं कर रहे, इस वजह से बैक फुट पे जाते हैं।
वो जिसमें वो पिक नहीं कर रहे, लेकिन आगे गया है बटलर, उस पर 1 रन ले लिया उसने। बॉल की पिच पे पहुंचना जरूरी है, जहाँ पे आपको समझ में नहीं आएगा, इतने ज्यादा ब्रेक नहीं होगा, बीट नहीं होंगे, लेकिन जब बैक फुट पे आ गए तो फिर बॉल को स्लो आ रही है, तो आपको लेट हो रहे हैं उसके अंदर, जिसकी वजह से जितना मुझे इल्म है इस चीज़ पर।
और बहुत ही अच्छी डिस्कशन यहाँ पे जारी है, एनालिसिस भी हो रहा है, कप्तानी पे भी बात हो रही है, बैटिंग बॉलिंग सब चीज़ों पे। पर हम अभी वापस आएंगे छोटी सी ब्रेक के बाद। गेम ऑन है।
उजली दुलाइया वे पावर शाइन ना लाइया वे पावर शाइन जब कपड़े लगे बिल्कुल न्यू तो फिर दूसरा पाउडर क्यों? उजली दुलाइया वे पावर शाइन ना लाइया वे कमांडर पावर शाइन पावर शाइन पावर शाइन।
अंकल क्या कर रहे हैं? 24 खाने का टाइम आपको पता है? एक बार मेरे मामू ने गलत टाइम पे 24 खा ली थी, बकरा बन गए। नहीं,